Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 26, the very first Brat Said That of the new year. I am your host, Brat Jackson. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Co-producer, Child LGBT. What a night it's been. What a week. What a 2026. It has already been 5 days in, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions. But we're going to get straight to it because we had our award show on the 1st. Thank you for everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, who was part of the show, chat, helped me with the award show. That was fun. But now we're talking sports, football, wrestling, UFC, baseball, college football. Even we're going to talk a little bit about Stranger Things finale, folks. Yes, we are live. We are going to start. We're going to go take a little time machine back to 2025. Talk about Raw last week. I thought it was taped. Wasn't taped. But we're not going to talk about all of it because it's been a week already. We move on. But the Usos are 9-time World Tag Team Champions. Yes, it seems like that Jey Uso experiment is over. And he is right to where he should be with his brother as a tag team. First off, we're going to make sure I am live. Yes, I am. Handsome man, as always. So, good for them. Good for the Usos. They can really help with that tag team division. They're one of the best tag teams of, I don't want to say my generation because I'm a little bit older, but definitely the current structure of tag teams. They're one of the best, and I really, really want to see Usos versus Hardys before the Hardy Boys retire. But we're going to talk about one thing I am so excited about. On SmackDown, Matt Caronda is back. Yes, no more woo-woo-woo, Zack Ryder. He is Matt Caronda, and he is back full time. No more Indie God. No more GCW. He's going to have to vacate a lot of independent wrestling championships. But Matt Caronda is back. Took on Kit Wilson. Didn't come with his down straight, theme song. Kind of got a little Def Rebelled, as we say in the business. But if they do it right, Matt Caronda can be a player. Maybe a major player. But for real, I'm so glad Matt Caronda is back in WWE. I want to say one thing. Matt Caronda proved that you can do amazing things outside of WWE. If you get released, the world's not over. Take over the independents. Do what Matt Caronda did. Be your own boss. So, Matt Caronda coming back, rightfully so, is this, it was already a good, shocking 2026. Now, do I wish he would have came back at the Rumble? Yes. Wait a couple weeks, or even tonight when they're in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, Long Island, that's not too far. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, and Matt Caronda is back. One of my favorites. If you haven't seen SmackDown, go see SmackDown. I definitely saw that they took the title off Chelsea Green. Come on. You can't have a congratulatory house for Cordonas. The House of Cordona. He comes back, but you got to take the title off for Chelsea. But hey, do good things with Matt Caronda. Keep him on SmackDown. Perfect fit. Love it. And even Kit Wilson. I think Kit Wilson, he's one of those people, if you want to do, a comedy spot or a squash match, obviously he is a man for you. So, we'll see. But we just finished Raw. Raw is over. I was going to do the show earlier today, but I was like, what? I'll wait till after Raw. Let's get some Raw Monday night in our system. And, shocking news, breaking news. CM Punk defeated Bron Brakker to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. No Seth Rollins. No Jericho. The Vision came out, but Team Luchador fought him to the back. And then Punk beat Brakker in a really, really good match. I thought it was gonna be over. But it kept going, and it kept going, and kept going. You know, Punk even hit Paul Heyman with a nice punch, which Heyman should have sold a little bit more. But I and the internet thought Chris Jericho was gonna come back. Chris Jericho did not come back, which is okay because we got the Rumble. We got the Rumble on the 29th. That's 24 days away. Have Chris Jericho come back at the Rumble. He loves surprises. And what better surprise than Chris Jericho at the Rumble? So, hey, we'll see that. And I honestly thought Seth Rollins was going to be there tonight. Why do you ask? I'll tell you. Because I was watching Good Morning Football, and Seth Rollins was on the panel, and they filmed that in New York City. So I figured maybe he'll show up. But no Rollins. He's still hurt. But we do need to talk about something that Rollins related. Becky Lynch is now a 2-time WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Yes, they took the title off Maxine Dupri. Guys, listen. I don't like to be negative on this show. But that wasn't a good match at all. Okay? Becky Lynch tried. Maxine is still a little rusty. I don't think she's ready to lead a match, to be a champion. It was good to have her beat Becky Lynch. Trust me, it was awesome to see. But it was not good. It was not good. But, you know, Punk, Breakker was great. Now you have Stephanie Vasquer. She has an ankle injury. Raquel Rodriguez came out, beat her up. Now we have also AJ Styles versus Gunther in Dusseldorf. Yes, in Dusseldorf, Germany. I think, was it Inglourious Bastards? My family's from Dusseldorf. Yeah. So that's a WrestleMania match right there. AJ Styles versus Gunther. Hopefully they keep that program going into Mania. Because that is just two legends of the business. And I can't wait. But not much else happened to Raw. There was, of course, the 74-time Layla Valkyrie Bayley versus Member of Judgment Day. We've seen that 100 times. But I do want to talk about this. We're going to talk more about the actual show later at night. But they had a Stranger Things Raw. You can put your graphics on Stranger Things. You can say Chapter 2, Chapter 3. But man, what a lack of Stranger Things. No Dustin, no Lucas, no Max, no Vecna, no nothing. It was just a Netflix promotion with Raw to promote Stranger Things. I thought there was going to be more. At least have, like, I don't know, Gunter choke out Hopper or something. I don't know. Do something. Have one of the cast members there. But, hey, it wasn't that good of a show. It was a Raw. First Raw of the year. Congrats. You know, it's a brand new year. Brand new year. So, you know, what's your takes? What are your predictions? What do you think's going to happen in 2026? I'm excited. But I'm always excited because when it comes to wrestling, that's the one thing I really get excited for the most, is seeing what happens in the world of wrestling. And like we talk about wrestling on the top of the show, but I do want to go over, I don't know if I talked about it during the award show. I know I was specifically on the awards, but AEW World's End happened, and we have a new AEW World Champion. And that is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Yes, MJF is the AEW World Champion. He defeated Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Hangman Adam Page in a 4-way match. What can I say? MJF is back. He's got the big, beautiful burgundy belt, or whatever he calls it, the Triple B. And, you know, I thought MJF had a kind of rough 2025, but hey, you ended as champion. You can't go wrong. We can go over the card really quick. You know, they were doing the Continental Classic. Okada defeated Takeshita. And Moxley defeated Fletcher. Which I didn't see, I'll be honest. I didn't get to see World's End just yet. I'm going to watch it. I heard there was something about Moxley and Fletcher, some spot that got everybody upset. But it's 2025, 2026, everybody's sensitive nowadays. Hey, Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron, and Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes Moné and Athena to retain the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship. And Willow Nightingale just won the TBS Championship once again from Mercedes. So congrats to Willow. What a great wrestler, human person, just entertainer. You know, Mercedes losing these championships left and right. R's and W's, kids. First mistake of the year. So nothing's changed, kids. So that's really what she's going to do. She's going to lose all these championships and probably win the big one when it comes to that time. Then you have Moxley defeating Okada. By the way, new microphone. I know we talked about this during Christmas time, but hey, it moves. But Moxley defeated Okada to become the AEW Continental Champion. Moxley turned face, I guess. So, good for him. Moxley is one of my favorites of all time, so, you know, and then you got Statlander defeating Jamie Hayter to retain the AEW Women's Championship. Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. Now, is this going to be the year Darby Allin becomes AEW champion? He's been in AEW since pretty much the beginning. He's been in the matches, the highlights, the Mount Everest of the world. So, there is no mountain he can't climb, literally, but the one mountain he has not climbed in his professional life, excuse me, I just spit, is winning the AEW World Championship. Other matches, Thomas Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, and the Conglomeration, Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, defeated Death Riders in a Mixed Nuts Mayhem match. Cool name. And then you got FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championship against Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn, the Bang Bang Gang. Then a couple of matches on the pre-show. But like I said over and over again, a perfect, maybe a little bit too much, but I think that is a perfect amount of matches for a big show, PLE, pay-per-view, whatever AEW calls their shows. You know, you got 4 pre-show matches, then you get 5 or 6 or 8 regular matches, get the titles in, get people on the card. But yeah, so congrats to MJF regaining the AEW World Championship. Let's see what he has for in 2026. Moxley as Continental Champion, Statlander AEW World Champion. So seems like Tony Khan's booking is pretty much how I would, you know. I always joke and say, I don't book the stuff, but I agree with you, Mr. Khan. We're going to talk more about the Khans a little bit later, but we do have to talk about one thing that just happened last night or in the morning. I don't remember. Wrestle Kingdom 20, always something I like to stay up and watch. You know, I'm getting older now. The gray is not just for show. I didn't get to see Wrestle Kingdom, but the legendary Hiroshi Tanahashi retired. Him versus Okada. What a match. I got to see that match. Tanahashi. For American wrestling fans, I want to say Tanahashi's, I don't want to say the Hogan, but like, maybe they're Cena. Maybe one of the top guys ever in New Japan. And he retired 26 year career. So, you know, another legend calls it quits, man. Or does it call it quits? Just leaves, but yeah. I didn't get to see much of the matches for Wrestle Kingdom. And I made a promise to myself, hey, watch more wrestling. That's a New Year's resolution. Go to the gym, eat better, watch more wrestling. And I'm doing 2 or 3 of those. But yeah, other matches. So here's the one thing, okay? When I trained out here in Vegas, I didn't get along with a lot of people. You know, I didn't mesh very well. But there's one guy I did get along with. His name was Jacob Austin Young. And he is part of the United Empire. So I was so surprised to see his name during that match. So shout out to him. Really cool guy. Always like one of those like technical wrestlers. Like his style. I love his style. So good to see him getting out of the Vegas scene and moving on to the world of New Japan, which is the biggest wrestling promotion in Japan. So, yeah, and then, like I said, it's kind of tough because when a few years ago you had like Omega, Ospreay, the Young Bucks, Bullet Club. Now you don't have any Bullet Club. Bullet Club for the first time since 2013 is no more in NJPW. So that's when I really focus on like Cody, I don't want to get people like, I even like Marty Squirrel. See, Squirrel. I liked him. But yeah, check out New Japan, AEW, the Royal Rumble is on the 29th. We are going to talk way more about that when it comes up because I love the Rumble. I don't think it's that outrageous to say it's the best match of the year, The Rumble is one match, one show that besides WrestleMania, you get your friends come over, you pick numbers. I think last year we all picked numbers, and me and Babe won the men's Rumble, and then Terrell, my best friend, won the women's Rumble. I do remember I was really sick during that day, so I'm glad to hopefully not be sick when our Rumble comes, which is going to be in Saudi Arabia. A lot of people have said he's spaghetti about that. 11 a.m. out here in the West Coast, so that'll be a little change, throwing people over the top rope, eating some pancakes. But, yeah. So that's like the WWE, AEW Pro Wrestling section of the show. Cardona is back. Punk defeated Breakker today. Is Jericho going to debut? We thought he was going to come back today. A lot of people were hyping it up. But let me tell you, it's okay. It's okay that he did it. Even though, this is kind of sound contradictory. A lot of times the internet will start a rumble. No pun intended. But start a rumor. Let's say The Undertaker's going to come back. And everybody watches the show. Hey, I heard The Undertaker's going to come back. The Undertaker's going to come back. But then The Undertaker doesn't come back. And this show sucked. Because The Undertaker didn't come back. But it's they didn't hype up The Undertaker. They didn't drop any hints. They didn't... We're back. I don't know what happened. This internet keeps cutting out. And I'm really upset. Okay? I don't know why. We pay it on time. We pay good money for this internet. And it keeps cutting out. So, take two, I'll edit it together on the internet. We talked about wrestling already. We talked about MMA. But one thing we do want to talk about, which is going to take up a huge chunk of the show, the NFL playoffs are here, guys. And we are in for a treat. Shocking end of one of the craziest years in football. Raiders 3-14 locked up the number one pick. So, regardless of how bad we played, because we played bad, the Raiders are Mendoza, come to Vegas. We got the first pick, so it's gonna be Fernando Mendoza. It should be. I don't know what his if he already eligible for the draft or what, but that is the guy. That is our future. One person who is not our future, Pete Carroll, fired. First year, one and done. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. And also Kevin Stefanski, Browns, Jonathan Gannon, Cardinals, other teams. It's this constant every year at the end of this time, at the end of the season. It's a coach carousel, So, Raiders gonna get a new head coach next year. Gonna get the first pick in the draft. But the playoffs are here, and we're gonna talk about it. I don't know how you want to. We can go over the seeds. We'll go over the seeds. We'll talk about who's first seed, 2 seed, 3 seed. Come on, internet, work. All right. So for the AFC, the Broncos, the Denver Broncos, 14-3, the first AFC West. Get that bye. The Patriots, those Patriots, AFC East, 2nd seed. The Jacksonville Jaguars, AFC South, the 1st seed. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, done not mess up. But you know who messed up? That rookie from the Ravens who missed the kick, tied the loop to end the Ravens season and to give the Steelers the playoff AFC North. You know, those are the top 4 seeds. And then we have the Texans at 5, Bills at 6, and the Chargers at 7. You know, Colts eliminated 8 and 9. Ravens eliminated 8 and 9. Dolphins 7 and 10. The almighty Chiefs 6 and 11. And I'll tell you a fun story about the Chiefs. At my job, we do cater a lot, and we actually catered the charter flight for the Kansas City Chiefs after their loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. So, yeah. So there is that. The Raiders get the first pick. The Jets, 3 and 14. The first time, the first team in NFL history to not get an interception. The first time it fell to Am I on? Why does it keep saying this? Technical difficulties already in 2026. But, yeah. So, that is that for the AFC. NFC, we'll look at the NFC. Where is the NFC? Come on, guys. Oh, here we go. NFC. The Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, 1st seed, 14 and 3. How about the Bears, 2nd seed, 11 and 6, NFC North champions. The Philadelphia Eagles, 11 and 6, NFC East, the only team to go back-to-back division champions in their NFC East. And then, by some miracle, the Carolina Panthers at 8 and 9 are the NFC South champions. They lost the last 2 games, but those almighty Falcons won it for them, and they clinched it and eliminated the Buccaneers, which is crazy because the Panthers, 8 and 9, 4th seed, a team like the Rams and 49ers, both 12 and 5, 5th and 6th seed, and then the Packers at 9 and 7 for the 2nd seed. Vikings eliminated Lions and Buccaneers, Falcons and Cowboys. Goodbye. 7 and 9 and 10, or 7 and 9 and 1. Saints, Commanders, and the Giants and Cardinals. So that is it. The brackets are out. Denver has a bye. Buffalo and Jacksonville, the Chargers and New England and Houston and Pittsburgh. Then in the AFC, Seattle with that bye. The Rams and Panthers. The almighty rivalry. The Packers and the Bears and the 49ers and the Eagles. So, I'm going to say it. On 808. 808 on Heartbreaks. The last good Kanye West album. I'm going to say it right here. 808 on the 5th of January 2026. The Buffalo Bills are going to become the Super Bowl champions for the first time. And they are going to be the San Francisco 49ers. A coast-to-coast Super Bowl. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, Jiggles. Where is the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is at Levi Stadium, where the San Francisco 49ers play. Wow. Okay, but I'm still sticking to it. Now, Jacksonville is going to be tough to beat. But I think, I hear a lot about people saying, well, now that Patrick Mahomes is out of the playoffs and we have Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen should make an easy victory to the Super Bowl. That is true. But there are the almighty bastards of the Patriots that can come in and easily ruin everybody's bracket. But I got Buffalo over Jacksonville. No relation. I want to see Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to win a Super Bowl in his lifetime. Yeah, I know. Low disk space. I'm on the old computer. We got a new computer. But I like the new computer, too. Chargers and Patriots. You know, and even Houston and Pittsburgh. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to enjoy this. You know, really, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl this year. No Cowboys, no Chiefs. Now, the worst possible Super Bowl for, like, me as a fan would be the Patriots versus Eagles. I'll be honest. But even if it's, like, I'll pick, like, even if it's, like, the Chargers versus, like, the Bears. That would be a cool Super Bowl. Like, Packers. That'd be cool. Packers versus Pittsburgh. Rodgers versus his old team. You know, you have a lot of good storylines coming out of here. Even the Seahawks, you know? Seahawks, even the Broncos. Like, I'm really just going to sit back and enjoy this. You know? Like, I don't hate the Patriots like I did growing up, you know? I don't want to see the Eagles repeat, even though I don't mind the Eagles. But I think this year's going to be a really good Super Bowl, no matter who wins it or who gets to there, you know? So there is that. There is the bracket. We predict the Bills versus the 49ers in the Super Bowl. But MLB, not much has happened. The great, legendary Don Mattingly is now the bench coach for the Phillies. That's really the only MLB news that I have. And then in NBA, we got the All-Star game coming up next month. A new USA versus World round-robin format. Dude, just do East Coast versus West Coast. It's simple. The best team on the East versus the best team on the West. You know, have the three-point competition, have the slam dunk competition. That's all you got to do. You don't got to fancy this all up, guys. Literally just need the best in the West versus the best in the East. NHL, we can look at the standings. We haven't talked about the NHL standings in a while. Hey, the Lightning are looking good. Let's see. Let's go to NHL.com. By the way, I'm watching old school WCW Nitro. Ric Flair's theme song just came on. Wonder what happened to that guy. A legend. So let's do conference. Yeah, man. Look at these teams. Pittsburgh, my Penguins, you know, not doing so good. Detroit Red. What happened to Detroit Red Wings? Where do they come from? Then the Tampa Bay Lightning, Carolina, like, you know, this. Colorado's looking good. Dallas Stars, you know. How's our teams doing? St. Louis Blues. Yeah, 17, 18, and 8. And then you got the Columbus Blue Jackets, 18, 16, and 17, and 7. But, you know, like I say, every time we talk about it, this is a sports podcast, but really the NHL doesn't really, you know, we don't talk too much about the NHL. But there is also one thing I do want to talk about more about. NCAA football. The Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl, all in the books. Guys, Ohio State is out of it. Yes, Ohio is gone. They lost to Miami 24-14 in the Cotton Bowl. Orange Bowl, Oregon defeated Texas Tech 23-0. Rose Bowl, Indiana and a future Raiders, Mendoza defeated Alabama 38-3. I remember there was a time Alabama used to win all the time. And then the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss defeated Georgia 39-34. So, I read somewhere, Ole Miss, Indiana, Oregon never won a championship. Miami won back in the day, as you know. Miami used to have The Rock on the team. But yeah, Miami versus Ole Miss, Indiana versus Oregon. You know, so another classic. But, you know, we'll see who goes into the finals or the championship game. Either Miami, Ole Miss versus Indiana, Oregon. I think Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers, right? They're going to win it. is going to go off and get drafted first. And that is how I predict that going. But one thing we do want to talk about to end the show, this is just the first show of 2026. We're going to talk a lot more, get a lot better production. We're still, I got a better mic. But, guys, I do want to talk about something. Kind of hurts to talk about, but it's a show. It's about my life and sports. I did a roast battle on Saturday. WrestleMania 8. The great guys, Sean, Mike, everybody. I took on Orlando Joshua. And I lost. Yes, that is right. I am 0 for 3 in roast battles. I thought I had the ammunition. How many short, white, fat jokes can you make? But Orlando, he connected with the crowd more. I couldn't find a balance with my jokes. I am a much better stand-up comedian than a roast battler. So, I officially retired from roast battling. I will always support the guys at WrestleMania. I think they're trying to start up a podcast. I will be on that podcast with them. But, Orlando hit me with a good joke. He said, Brat used to be a pro wrestler. But the only thing he's wrestling now is diabetes, which is not true. But I was like, man, that's a good one. And then I don't know. I won Trash on the Night once again. So, shout out to everyone on the show. I definitely don't think I was the worst. I've only been doing this for 2 years. But, there were some other people that I thought should have got the Trash on the Night. But hey, if there's anybody that needs to play the fool, the clown, the poking fun of, let it be me. I'm okay. But hey, WrestleMania 10, I told him, hey guys, WrestleMania, you have these shows twice, every 3 months. You have the show every 3 or 4 months. WrestleMania weekend would be great. So we'll see. WrestleMania 10 comes around. I will be there supporting my guys. But yeah, I'm not a roast battler. I'm not. But I do want to do one thing. I'm going to give the BratWURST Award. We all know what the BratWURST Award is. The worst of the week. I'm going to give the BratWURST Award to myself. Yes, Brat, you won the BratWURST Award the first time in 2026 for your abysmal performance at WrestleMania IX. So, I want to thank myself for giving myself this award. But before we get off, we need to talk about Stranger Things finale. Yes, it is over in Hawkins. Spoilers. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about the ending. I'm going to tell you what I like. Tell you my theories. Tell you what I thought went wrong. But Stranger Things is over. One thing that hurt it for me is a lot of emotional disconnect for the characters. When you have 3 years off, you just disconnect with them. They were cute little kids back in the day. I gotta find a demigorgon to play Dungeons and Dragons. Loved it. Now they're like, hey man, I got an interview on Ellen later. Which, no fault of their own, but we'll talk about it. So, the Upside Down, and then Hawkins. So, if you don't know, Elle's sister 8 is back. I don't know. It was just a weird ending. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything really thought of, but Elle sacrificed herself to save Hawkins, save Hopper and the guys. Max is out of coma. Holly Wheeler. It was kind of the all-star, against Vecna. It was, I really wanted to see Eddie come back. Dustin was Eddie inspired this whole season. I love when, if you don't remember, season 4, Eddie was like, I can't wait to get on that stage, flip off the president, flip off the principal, and take my diploma. And when Dustin did it, he went on that stage, grabbed that diploma out of the principal's hand, and flipped him off just for Eddie. I would have loved to see Eddie come back, but, you know, some of these Duffer Bros, kill off some main characters, man. That's the only thing I wanted to see. You know, Elle dying, did it happen? Because at the end, when the kids are back at the D&D table, they're older, obviously, and Mike tells them the story about what happened, what he thinks, or what is. It's a very ambiguous ending. Ambiguous. I don't know words. But that ending, you know, did Elle escape, and now she's somewhere with waterfalls, and then they all put away their Dungeons and Dragons notebooks and binders, and they're all emotional, and then they, Holly, what's her name? Holly Wheeler? Right? Holly, right? Holly comes down with her friends, Little Fat Kid and all the other ones, and now it's their generation. So, you know, overall, I thought it was cool. You know, I want to get his name right, because I don't want to say it wrong, but Jamie Campbell Bower, the guy who plays Henry Krill and Vecna, what a performance. What a great actor, you know. Reminds me a lot of, you know, Stranger Things reminds me a lot of, like, my favorite horror film, It. Like, he was, like, if there ever needs to be another Pennywise, he would be a great Pennywise. But, you know, it is, you know, but they left a lot to be answered, you know. Like Robin and her girlfriend, are they still together? Jonathan and Nancy, are they engaged? You got Steve Harrington. Like, I thought Steve was dead for sure. But it was cute when Dustin's like, I can't lose you, because, like, he lost Eddie, and he can't lose Steve. But, hey, it was a great, you know, great ending. Now, there's a lot of theories online. A lot of theories. We can look up some theories. My favorite theory was, I thought this was all going to be a fantasy with them being 10-year-old playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they just made up everything. That's what I truly thought. Mike, if you didn't watch Stranger Things, I'm talking about the finale. I really thought that's how it's going to be, you know. But, you know, I like it. A lot of times, like, you know, they just have a lot of unanswered questions. I really just want, like I said, there's also a lot of people talking about, like, okay, here's 11 biggest theories and clues for Stranger Things. We finally know, you know, so, I don't know. I'm trying to find a good talk about, but there's a lot of theories. I thought the theories of it still being, like, just a Dungeons and Dragons game, and it was just them back in their Dungeons and Dragons as kids. That would have been cool. But, you know, it was a great series. I don't like that there was 3 years off of it. I think it should have kept going. There's a lot of theories saying that Will's still possessed by Vecna. Kali, who is Elle's sister, was a traitor. 11 faked her own death. And, you know, but, you know, it was cool to see Will. Will came out. Will came out. A lot of conflict between Will and his personal life. That was cool to see. That was a good moment. You know, but I just want to know, like, so you get the army or whatever it is, the military comes into Hawkins, and then Nancy and Hopper are killing like 15 guards an episode, and then at the end when everybody's like, okay, time to go, no repercussions. Hopper's again the chief of police in Hawkins, and you know, everybody talks about how it's, you know, it was a happy ending, and you know, happy endings are cool, but you know, I don't know. But guys, I want to see more. You know, it's always like your favorite TV shows ends and like it's that week after where you just like want more. Like I love Sons of Anarchy. And I knew how it ended. It ended perfectly. And then when Mayans came out, that ending, it was alright, but I wanted more. So, so shout out to all the actors. Winona Ryder. I don't know all their names, but David Harbour, phenomenal actor. Like I said, Jamie Campbell, great actor too. So, we'll see. Stranger Things is, it's over. No more Stranger Things. In Britain, it's called A Bit Awkward, Ain't It? Or what is it? A Bit Weird, Ain't It? But hey, this week, personally, I got The Pit coming back to watch. I got The Rookie, one of my favorite shows, is coming back. But I will be coming back too. I'm going to say Thursday. I think I might do an open mic. I really, 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 really hope I get this opportunity to do an open mic at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. That would be fantastic. So if I do, I'll talk about that. But guys and girls, that is it. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a safe New Year. If you have New Year's resolution, do your best to continue doing what you're doing. Just be happy. If I missed anything, let me know. I got to edit this together because the internet... Can you turn that down for a little bit? Jeez. Chad LGBT. By the way, now that Chad LGBT does not do his picks anymore, we got to figure out a job for him. So, guys, girls, I'm heading out. Thank you so much. 26 is in the books. 27 will be on Thursday. Guys, like I say, love each other, love yourself, and love sports. Good night.